today going to do something totally different, because normally I'm not just talking, I'm opening something or whatever. But I've been looking at lots of replies to the original video, and I actually watched the original one. Made a couple of notes. The honest Goth talk, and this is a reply to that video, really. Look, like I said, looking at all the replies, the thing I noticed is that, strangely enough, everybody is right. There's no right, there's no wrong answer to anything, really. So everybody that's got a view on it, you generally find that it's right in some way or another. Maybe not right for some people, but nevertheless it's right. Which is sort of a theme that goes through it all, really. What I'm going to talk about, within the Goth subculture, we do have this attitude of, it's got to be this, it can't be that, along with loads of other stuff, and really it does pull the cult of the subculture down. But so looking at one of two of the topics that was brought up, first one really was big accounts, and like lots of people said, big accounts, they are an uncontrollable beast, really. The bigger they get, the more you as a person start going to the outside of it, and maybe you do have to pick and choose where you can interact with certain people, but you've got to be very careful that you're not picking and interacting with all the ones that does make it stand out like a sore thumb. You don't really want to be picking all the ones that are on the same little line as yourself. So you've got loads and loads of fans, these people have got loads and loads of fans, you're da, 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 and all of those. You've got to sort of spread it around, because as much as that fan base comes in, that fan base can go out, and it can come out, it can go out a damn sight quicker than it come in. So I'm not chastising anybody for what they do, but I think it's something that we have to be aware of, and we have to think about how we put stuff over, how we reply, how we talk about things. And it can be done in different ways, and some ways it can look very much like you're talking there, there, there. But with words and the way we do it, we can make everyone that's looking at that screen feel that we are talking to them, which is what it's all about. And if we are talking in a way that the majority of people are looking at that screen and they can't see that, they feel like they're just an onlooker, then that's when we get the problems. So really that's my main thing at the beginning, that really however many fans we've got, whether it's few, whether it's a vast amount, we have to talk to them. So I think we should look upon this thing in front of us as a person and talk to it in such a way that when we talk to it, we're talking to every set of eyes that are looking at it, and they feel personally that we're talking to them. And I said we can't always respond to each individual because there's so many individually, but we can respond to everyone in what we say and how we say it. So to me that is probably the main crux of all this, really, because if we get that right, just about everything else will fall into place as well. Because once we get that right and we see people as individuals, but in one, we start treating everybody that way, and that counteracts some of the other things we've been talking about that's coming up in these videos. A thing that I notice a lot within the Goth community is this thing about baby bats and the new Goths coming in and everything. And there is this sort of a bit of culture within our subculture that you got these people that I'm so Goth, they're just a bit of a bloody eyesore to me. If they got to be here, let them sit over there in the corner. Oh, let them, you know, we can't do that. They're the future. And if we don't interact with people and we don't teach them the things we know and teach them the mistakes that we made, then we can't very well turn around and condemn and talk about them for the mistakes and everything they're making. That said, they're our future. If we can't invest some of our time and our haughtiness in these, then it's a bad business. One thing we got to remember is that we can be all hoity-toity. I'm Goth, I'm so this, look at me, look at this, blah blah. But we're not a culture, we are a subculture. And this comes up in my mind a lot over a long period of time, that people forget we are a subculture. We're not the be-all and end-all of everything. We are a subculture of something else. And most people say, yes, we're a subculture of punk. Well, yes, we are a subculture of punk, but we're not just a subculture of punk. At the time, there was punk, there was lots of other genre around, and on all those, just breathed lots of bits of life into what eventually would become Goth. Also, people just, you get stuck in this 80 track. The 80s, that is Goth. No, that is not Goth. Goth was around probably from the beginning of time. It's the way people are, it's what we are inside, it's what we feel, it's the way we interact with things, it's what we love around us. I love black. It's the most comforting, happy colour to me. That isn't something that started in the 80s. The Victorians, for me, you might as well stuck Goth gear on them because they were totally flipping Goth. And if you look at the Goth subculture, if we had to pick out every little thing within the Goth subculture that's Victorian, we would be, as I call us, the new Victorians. We're very much that way. So we have to sort of try and stay a bit grounded and know who we are and stop this flipping that I'm this within Goth, you're that within Goth, and I'm here in Goth but you're there in Goth. No, we bloody well aren't. We're all there in Goth. You're either Goth or you're not Goth. Because you got the money and you can buy all the fancy gear under the sun, doesn't make you any more Goth than the poor little bugger at the bottom that hasn't got anything because of life. But if you weighed up their soul, is your soul any Gothier than theirs? Might be surprised to find theirs is more. So we've got to look at what we are as a a subculture, not a culture, we're a subculture. And that brings the other point that because we're a subculture, how many times within the Goth subculture do I hear people, this subculture of Goth, that subculture of Goth, this, they don't, cobblers. They're subcultures within the subculture of Goth. And as time goes on, each one of those subcultures are going to have subcultures. This is what Goth's about. It's not one little thing. We evolve, we grow. That's why I can't stand it when people are too elitist and they're talking about the 80s. Oh, if you're Goth, you've got to look 80s. You got to listen to the 80s. You got to do this, you got to do that. Cobblers. When I look at the 80s, I see punks. And the first Goths looked very punk. It took quite a while before what we might look upon as a Goth look and a modern subculture evolved. It evolved. And like anything else, how many things do you know the same today as there were in the 80s and 90s? Everything evolves. We evolve. I don't look like I looked like in the bloody 80s. I'm a lot older. I'm doing lots of things different now to what I would have done in the 80s. So the 80s are very special. Part of the birth of the modern Goth subculture. Not the Goth subculture per se. That's been around many, many centuries. It's just the birth of a new form, really. Goths are very good at reinventing the self, and that's why we're getting all these subcultures within the subcultures. So I'm not going to decry anybody. I'm not going to decry those that have got large fan bases on YouTube, or those with very few. I think what we should probably do is maybe have a week where we all go hunting out the little person, the ones with very few fans, the ones that are pretty new on YouTube, because that was one of the things that did strike me, that we're sort of deteriorating, we're sort of diminishing. I don't think we are. I think if we look at the bigger base, maybe it is to some degree, because people are feeling that it's going out there, it's going away from us. But it won't if we look at that screen and we treat the screen as though we're talking to each individual. But that's the thing. There is life out here in the YouTube world. There's life out there. I see so many new Goths. I see so many Goths that are not necessarily new, but don't have the knowledge and everything to be able to boost their channel. There's probably some with channels that people skip over. And if we take a little bit of time to go into those channels and listen to what people are having to say, what they're putting up, then we might be happily surprised and think, bloody hell, you know, people that know what they're talking about. Because figures don't make you bright. So, yeah, that's more or less my main stuff, really. I was looking at the other stuff. Literature, books. music and all that sort of thing. Like I said, music, yes, it's probably nice that we have a knowledge of the 80s music. We can whistle a few of them. Personally, I look at people typing, I hear people talking. They talk about bands that it's gone over my head. For one thing, I can't keep up with every flipping band that's under the sun because my music genres go out there. I love just about everything, and I'll probably upset a lot of people. The only thing I really don't like is rap. But everybody's an individual. You can't get up every morning and listen to 80s goth morning to night, day after day, year after year. One thing, it'll start boring you to bloody death, and in the end you'd say, goth music, couldn't give a shit. It's just an impossibility. So everybody's got their favourites. Some like The Cure, some like Susie, some like this, some like that. The fact is that some of those bands that we even put on our little goth pedestals are not even sure the flipping self whether they're goth. And it's took them since the 80s to try and figure it out, and they still can't figure it out. And we can have that argument for Kingdom Come. So goth is more than music. It's more about the clothes. It's your soul. It's everything that's about you. And you shouldn't feel intimidated or anything because you like other genres and everything of music. You like other art rather than gothic art. Literature, you like other literature. Okay, you'll find that within that you do love a lot of the gothic stuff. But I'd say if you're a person that's pretty flipping depressive and a manic depressive or whatever, I don't know much about those sort of things. I'd say probably reading a lot of gothic literature isn't going to do you a hell of a lot of good. So reading other stuff that uplifts you and makes you feel good about yourself. And end of the day, are we clones? I'm definitely not a clone of anybody. Are you a clone of anybody? I should hope you're not. This is the thing about the goth subculture, that whether we're talking about the 80s, way beyond the 80s, or towards this direction, it's always been a subculture of people that are different to others. If we all knuckle down and do everything that people say, you should be doing this because you're goth, and if you're not doing it, I don't want to know you, then what do we become? I'm an individual, I'm me. I hope that you're an individual and you're you. And I don't want to see the day when I can look around a room and wonder who the hell anybody is, because we're all the same. We don't want to be clones, we don't want to be robots. We want that individuality. And our individuality is a little bit weird and wonderful and dark and all those things that make the richness of goth. But we can do it in our own individual ways. And when we embrace that and we accept that and we start learning from each other, we'll realise how rich and how rewarding that is. I want to learn from people, their ways, their way of looking at things. 6 people look at a painting, probably that behind me. 6 people see something totally different, and that's how life should be. We shouldn't all be going along the same track of the record. So, all in all, I agree with most things most people said. I don't personally feel that Goth on YouTube is diminishing to that extent. I think it's out there. I think we're all too bloody blind to look at it and to find it. If you keep looking at channels and go, oh no, too young, no, oh baby bat, oh, what do you expect? It's going to diminish. So let's probably look for some of those, subscribe to them, give them some of the benefit of the knowledge we get as old gadgets, and make it seen that we are out there. We're just making things hide. So, yeah. So, have fun, folks. Carry on doing what you're doing, unless you're getting too high and mighty within the subculture. Don't shrug people off. Welcome them in and get some of their richness into you as well. Okay? Have fun. Don't do anything I wouldn't. Don't leave you a bloody lot. Really.